CMIS 3114, Data Communication and Computer Networks. 2020. Practical Sessions. Router Configuration. Part 3. Interface Configuration. Interfaces. Used to connect devices. Routers have interfaces. And switches interfaces known as ports. Interfaces used in Cisco devices. Ethernet. Fast Ethernet. Gigabit Ethernet. Serial. Devices chassis have network modules. Known as chassis slot port. In this device you can see them as GUI 0/0. Configuration interface gig 0/0. We can install interface cards to the device. They are named as sub-slots. Interfaces in the sub-slot. Gig 0/0/0. Also known as slot subslot port. Configuration interface gig 0/0/0. Interfaces in the chassis. Available slots. We can connect interface cards to these holes. Turn off the device. In the left side you can see the network modules that can install. When we click on a module, in the bottom corner can see the physical appearance. Add network module with 4 fast Ethernet ports. Add another module with a serial interface. Drag and drop. Now turn on the device. In the Config tab you can see the interfaces. Fast Ethernet 0/0 and 0/1. Interfaces in the chassis. Fast Ethernet 0/0/0 interfaces in the network card we added with 4 fast Ethernet ports. Serial 0/1/0 interface in the network card we added with a serial port. 2 routers are connected through a crossover cable. IP address for the R1F0/0 interface. 10.10.10.1. IP address for the R2F0/0 interface. 10.10.10.2. Configure those interfaces as shown in the screen. By using Show IP Interface Brief command we can see the all interfaces and their status. Interface. Fast Ethernet 0/0. IP address. 10.10.10.1. Status up. Protocol up. Status show the layer 1 and protocol show the layer 2. Values the can see in status and line protocol. Administratively down. Down. Use shutdown command. Down. Down. Physical layer problem. Up. Down. Problem in data link layer. Up. Up. Working properly. To see the details in the interface, use show interface F0/0. To remove the configurations that done to the interface, use the command default interface FA0/0. Let's try this in the packet tracer. Change the router name to R1. In the global configuration mode, interface F0/0 command. IP address and subnet mask. No shutdown. Change the router name to R2. In the global configuration mode, interface F0/0 command. IP address and subnet mask. No shutdown. In router R1, show IP interface brief. Show interface F0/0. Interface up. Line protocol up. MAC address. IP address. Maximum transmission unit. Bandwidth. Delay. Encapsulation. Duplex and speed. Reset the interface. Serial interface configuration. For that we are using serial DCE cable. When we are using serial cable we need to set a clock rate. In this situation the first router that we connect the cable become DCE. In this router we need to set the clock rate. Other router become the DTE. To see which router EOs the DCE and DTE, use the command show controllers serial 0/0/0. R1 router DCE, so the clock rate set to 64,000. R2 router DTE, so no need to set the clock rate. Configure the routers as shown in the screen. Let's try this in the packet tracer. Go to connections. Choose serial DCE. You can see a small clock here. Change the router name to R1. Change the router name to R2. Let's see which one is the DCE and DTE. Show controllers serial 0/0/0. R1 router DCE. R2 router DTE. Configure the serial interface. IP address and subnet mask. R1 is the DCE router so clock rate. No shutdown. Configure the serial interface. IP address and subnet mask. R1 is the DTE router, so no clock rate. Shut down. In the R1 router you can see the clock rate that we set.